Sinaloa Cartel's #1 hitman finally revealed. It's October 18, 2013, a day that started with birthday cheers but took a sinister turn. It was a lively birthday party with people dancing and celebrating. Now shift your focus to the cheerful clown in the crowd. Little did anyone know within moments that he would transform from a source of joy to an executor of doom. His target? None other than Francisco Rafael Arellano Felix, the head gangster of the notorious Tijuana cartel. Shockingly, in front of the audience, the clown revealed himself to be Jose Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa, better known as El Chino Anthrax, the top hitman for the Sinaloa cartel. Today, buckle up for an interesting story of crime, deceit, and the man concealed behind the bone-chilling clown disguise. Get ready for a story that unfolds the secrets of the underworld. Let me introduce you to Jose Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa, a guy whose early years were surprisingly ordinary and comfy. Born on June 15th in the city of Culiacan, right in the heart of Sinaloa, Mexico, Jose had it all. A respected and well-off family, with a dad working in government and a mom in academia. Now here comes the interesting part. The curveball in this seemingly perfect story was his next-door neighbors, the Zambatas. If that name doesn't ring a bell, let me break it down for you. Ismael El Mayo Zambada Garcia was one of the original members of the Sinaloa cartel way back in 1987. While El Chapo was in the spotlight, Zambada opted for the shadows, running his own faction. Can you believe the unexpected connections in Jose's seemingly normal life? It's like living next door to a real-life drama. Now let's fast forward to Jose's tale. In the same neighborhood, there were three amigos named Vicente, Ismael, and Serafin, the sons of El Mayo Zambada. These guys were like peas in a pod with our protagonist Jose. They did everything together, school, sports, parties, you name it. They were practically joined at the hip and became the ultimate best friend. Now you might be curious about the Zambada trio's influence on Jose, given their connection to some shady cartel business, but here's the scoop. Zambada didn't keep his sons in the dark about the family trade. And yes, it was all about cartels. But guess what? Despite being exposed to this world as Jose grew older, there were no signs of him getting tangled up in a life of crime. Jose had bigger dreams beyond the cartel chaos. Initially, he aimed to be a hotshot pilot in the Mexican military, but life threw a curveball his way, an infective skin condition called psoriasis. This didn't make him lose hope, though. He switched gears and set his sights on a new adventure. College was calling, and Jose decided to jump headfirst into the world of architecture. Talk about turning the page on a new chapter. Back in his college days, Arechiga's life took a crazy turn with not one, but two major events unfolding in quick succession. First, he became a dad, and shortly after, he walked down the aisle. These new roles threw a curveball at his academic journey, and that's when things started going downhill. Balancing fatherhood, being a husband, and providing for his family turned into a really tough nut to crack. Feeling swamped, he turned to his childhood buddies, the Zambada brothers, for a helping hand. Vicente Zambada, also known as El Vincentillo, stepped up to assist Arechiga, but in a way you wouldn't expect. He introduced him to the world of cartels. Arechiga kicked off with the small tasks like managing shipments and keeping an eye on deliveries. El Vincentillo gradually guided him into the drug trade. And here's where Arechiga's creativity truly sparked. He set up a network of legitimate businesses that required shipments from Mexico to the U.S. Under this disguise, he established trucking companies, smoothly transporting drugs without raising any eyebrows. Arechiga swiftly became a key player in the Sinaloa cartel, catching the attention of El Vincentillo's father, El Mayo. Yet something shifted in Arechiga. A darker side surfaced, and he developed a craving for violence. Unlike others in the cartel, he willingly participated in gruesome acts, earning him a notorious reputation. Mutilated bodies became warnings on bridges in Sinaloa territory, and the town was abuzz with tales of the chilling fate awaiting those crossed by Arechiga. El Mayo recognized the potential in his brutality, appointing him as one of his feared assassins, and more notably, as El Vincentillo's personal bodyguard. Life had taken an unexpected and dark twist for Arechiga. In 2008, Arechiga, a key member of the Sinaloa cartel, got a major career switch. He was taken off bodyguard duty and given a more crucial task by El Mayo. At that time, the Sinaloa cartel was in a sticky situation. A group called the Beltran Leyva organization had split from them and declared war. El Mayo, caught in the middle, had to jump into the conflict. Arechiga saw an opportunity and created his own armed group within the Sinaloa cartel, calling it Los Angeles. This squad, known as Los Anthrax, became infamous for their ruthlessness. Arechiga, now famously known as El Chino Anthrax, is the leader of Los Anthrax. Their mission? To safeguard El Mayo and take on anyone who dared to cross their path. For 5 wild years, they unleashed chaos in Sinaloa, engaging in fierce battles with the Beltran Leyva, and even going head-to-head with the Mexican army. Things took a turn for the worse as rival cartels and the military joined the chaotic mix. Arechiga, once a mysterious figure, suddenly found himself in the spotlight. However, as Los Anthrax faced relentless attacks, his leadership began to falter in El Mayo's eyes. The tipping point arrived in November 2011, when one of Los Anthrax's leaders, Pancho, met his end during a soccer game. This set off a chain of violent reprisals, with bodies hanging from bridges and innocent civilians losing their lives on playgrounds. Amidst the turmoil, Arechiga, fueled by a thirst for revenge, took an unexpected turn. He ventured into the world of social media influencing. It's a strange twist in a tale filled with danger, battles, and a quest for power. Arechiga started showing off his fancy lifestyle on social media, becoming a big-shot influencer. Now get this, he's making millions from some shady business, and what does he do with all that dough? Buys flashy cars, rents out expensive yachts, grabs high-end watches, and snags some swanky houses. To top it off, there are songs written about him praising his elegance and love for sports cars, yachts, and champagne. He even flaunts pics with celebs like Paris Hilton, trying to keep his identity a secret. But guess what? He slipped up big time. In every photo, he's got this distinctive ring on his finger, like a signature move. When the security agencies around the world caught wind of his story, they were onto him without even blinking an eye. Fast forward to the end of 2013, and he's taking a vacation in the Netherlands. The US tips off the Dutch police, and bam, they arrest him at the airport. The crazy part? He's using a fake identity, but that unmistakable ring gives him away. And just like that, his flashy life crashed, leading to his arrest, jail time, and spilling the beans on New Year's Eve. Talk about a plot twist, right? Back on July 10th, 2014, something big happened. Arechiga was sent over to the US, and the very next day, he found himself in court facing drug charges. At first, he was all tough, saying he didn't do anything wrong, pleading not guilty. But guess what? Things took a wild turn. By March 20th, 2015, he did a complete 180 and admitted to being mixed up in shipping cocaine and weed to the US. He spilled the beans about doing some nasty stuff while working for the Sinaloa cartel. Now, why the sudden change of heart? People were scratching their heads, wondering if someone twisted his arm or made him spill the beans. When he got a super light sentence of just 6 years in a US prison and 5 years on probation, the plot thickened. Turns out, El Chino Anthrax, as he's known, spilled the tea on basically everyone. He spilled names, addresses, and the Sinaloa cartel's secret playbook to the U.S. Attorney's Office. This inside info was so good it shook up the cartel big time. Back home, everyone, including El Mayo, knew their golden boy had turned into a snitch. On March 3rd, 2020, Arechiga was released on parole and put under house arrest in the U.S. for some clear reason. His parole conditions restricted him from staying within 500 meters of his California home. However, a few months later, in May, he made a daring move and escaped his parole, returning to Culiacan to live with his sister and her husband. Just 10 days later, on the night of May 14th, 2020, a shocking incident unfolded. Arechiga, his sister, and her husband found themselves in their house when a group of gunmen suddenly stormed in, firing at them. Arechiga fought back, but eventually ran out of ammunition, and they were all taken hostage. The following morning, their lifeless bodies were discovered in a black SUV wrapped in cloth with their heads covered in plastic bags. A horrifying result of torture and gunshots. Speculation arose about who could have orchestrated this attack on El Chino. Some suggested it might be members of the Tijuana cartel seeking revenge for his assassination of their leader. Others pointed fingers at the remaining members of the Beltran Leyva organization, even though it had been disbanded by the Mexican military. However, regardless of the speculation, the attack occurred deep in Sinaloa territory, and it seemed impossible without the knowledge of El Mayo or senior cartel members. In the following months, the attack, with no retaliation for the killing of one of their former top sicarios, it became evident that El Mayo must have ordered, or at least allowed the hit. El Chino Anthrax had become a traitor, betraying the cartel and making his return to Sinaloa a dangerous move. The unanswered question remained: why did Arechiga leave the safety of his probation in the U.S. to return to a place where he knew he wasn't wanted? Did he believe his actions would be easily forgiven, or was El Chino Anthrax simply that naive? Hey there, awesome viewers. Thanks a bunch for hanging out with us in today's video. We're super curious to know what you think about the stuff we share. So drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion's like gold to us. Did you enjoy the video? If it brought some value to your day, a thumbs up would be like a virtual high five. And guess what? If you hit that subscribe button, you'll never miss out on the cool stuff we're cooking up. Share the love by passing this video along to your friends. Knowledge is meant to be shared. Oh, and don't forget to ring that bell so you're the first to know when we drop something new. Stay tuned, take care, and a massive thank you for being part of our awesome community. Catch you in the next one.